fruit trees have arrived today, and that's what we have. So we have, untangle them a bit. So we have apples, pears, plum, cherry. Apples, pears, yeah, that's correct, yes. They don't look very big. That's what everybody's going to think. That's exactly what I want. These are going to be trained. They're all going to be trained as either Cordons, Espaliers, fans, and the Cordons will either be singles or triples. And I don't need, and I cannot use great big tall plant material for that. They have to be nice and short, like these are. Let's give you an example on this pear. So there's a nice pear. There's where it's, so this is the understock. So this is the bit, this below my thumb is the bit that is grown from seed. So this actually has a little bit, some suckers on it. So these are suckers. We do not want them. So we're going to cut those off. So whenever you get suckers, just remove them. And then above that, here is where it was grafted, budded, grafted, either or. And this is, as you can see, grafted sweet cherry lapins on a full-size understock. Now the understock, which is this on the cherry, this on the this is Egremont russet. So again, this is the understock, this lower piece here, all the way to the bottom to the roots. And this little section here is where it was budded and grafted on. This piece determines how big this piece is going to be. Now, the cherry is what they call full size. So it's a full size understock. I don't know what they will have actually used. This one here, this is a EMLA. So it stands for East Malling LA. It used to be East Malling Research Station in the UK. And this is a 105, and it's a semi-dwarf. So if I did nothing else with this, it would not make a full-size tree. I didn't want dwarf for any of this material. I wanted semi-dwarf on everything apart from the cherry and the plums, which I wanted full-size. The other requirement for myself for this order, let's pick a bigger one. So this, here we have Apple Cortland Nova Red. This is on a slightly different rootstock. This is on a B118. All of these can be researched and look up to see what each one does. But again, it's a semi-dwarf. Again, understock, grown from seed, grown on in the nursery beds. And then the sign, which is this top piece, is grafted to it. And again, this determines how big this is going to be. So normally when you buy an apple tree, you would buy a whip or a branched. Now a whip would be a longer version of this. So this one is probably about, oh, what's that, 2 feet tall. So normally, traditionally, a whip would be probably about 3 to 4 feet tall. And then you would get it to the height you want, take the top out and make it bush out. Or you would buy branched. Now, if you buy branched, you're going to get apples quicker. Now, those are great if that's what you're looking for, but I'm looking to train all of this material, not have it as full-size trees. This one, as you can see, if Julie comes in close, it's got all its side buds. Now, normally for a whip, the nursery would rub all of these out because they don't want them sending shoots out. I have to have those because this guy actually is going to get chopped off right there. Once it's in the pot, it's going to be cut off right there and then let to grow on. Now, at this stage, I'm not going to go into all the details about all the various shapes and sizes that we're going to be training them to. But
we'll go through that as you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. As I do it, I will go through it with you. But the priority now is to get these into pots. Obviously, we can't plant them out. The garden's not ready. So I'm going to grow them on for the whole of this year in pots. So these are all going to go into a 3-gallon pot. But as you can see, nice root system, no pruning. I'm not going to cut nothing off the roots. So they're too nice and fibrous. So that's going to fit in there really nicely. And then it'll sit in there for the rest of this year. Whether I plant them out in the fall or not, I really don't know at this stage. We're going to have to wait and see how we get on with the gardens. Apple Macintosh. EMLA 106 semi-dwarf. So the EMLA, and I'd forgotten, was East Malling Long Ashton, was the research station from the UK that did all the original research on all of these rootstocks. And they're all potting is going to be all the same. As I say, they're all going into a 3-gallon pot. They go back in at the same height as they were in the nursery, the rootstock, so level with the top of the pot. Nice root systems. There's no need to cut anything off. There's no need to fan anything out. Just drop it into the bottom of the pot. A little bit of compost in the bottom. Put a little bit of compost in. Give it a shake. Shake the compost down around the roots and give it a little shake again. It'll stand up on its own. And then fill it in around the compost, pressing down on the outside. Don't press down too close to the actual roots. And as you can see, I'm right there, so I'm right at the right level. Give it a little tap. And that's all it is. And it doesn't make any difference whether I'm doing the apples, the pears, the plums. All potting is going to be exactly the same. There's no fertilizer going in this yet. I'll leave these things to root out a little bit, and then I'll give them a top dressing of slow release. And I've been looking at these, and I am going to cut every single one of them back. But once everything's all potted, I'll show you what I'm going to do then and where I'm going to cut them. So these are dripping wet. I have had them on soak for a little while. There wasn't really any need for it. They were pretty wet, straight from the nursery, packed in some nice sawdust wood chip. Again, same process. Little shake, work the soil around, fill the pot up. So I'm going to get the rest of these finished off. Get them popped outside on a trolley, and then I'll show you where I'm going to cut these all back to. I got a rock! Another one! Big one! Half moon. Knifing iron. To me, one of the most valuable pieces of equipment I have, especially when we're laying out new beds. So this is going to be the raspberry bed. Already cut around the outside yesterday. I mean, the ground's dried out really quickly here, considering how much rain we've had. I've got raspberry plants coming on Monday. Today is Saturday, so I thought about time to make a start. So just as you can see, cutting in the edges, piling it all up in the middle, breaking it up with the half moon, and then I'm going to add a layer of manure. Scratch that in a little bit, let it settle, and then that'll be ready for planting then. I don't think the raspberries will go out quite yet. They're coming in as plugs. We'll show you when they come in what they're like. And we'll have to wait until the frost probably, if they've started to break. If they haven't, I might get them right out.
So if they've started to break, obviously that new foliage is set.
Yeah, we can't put that out. That the frost might come. We got a, I think, is it Sunday night, Monday night? We got a -4, -5.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, so we just got a couple nights again, so we just got to be a bit careful. But yeah, I want to get these in the ground as soon as we can, so that at least we get some raspberries late in the fall. We've got 3 varieties coming. Can't remember the names now. I've ordered so much plant material over the last 3 months. But anyway, we'll show you that. That's coming on Monday. So delivery today, or 2 deliveries actually. So this one came from Cordons NVK. So this is just plants for our own garden, not for resale. It's just a small mixture of stuff with a few bits we wanted to get, and maybe get some of it planted. If not, we'll grow it on. So the tall ones, we have a couple of trees, Princeton Gold and Aceplatinoides Crimson King. We have a birch, a couple of magnolias. So there's one magnolia back here, which is Magnolia Jane. You can see it's got a little flower, really nice dark. Couple of larch, 3 larch, and they're just going to go as a little clump. Julie likes larch, so we're going to plant these out front somewhere. Black cedars for our hedge. Nice plants, nice size, nice and easy to plant. Really nice root system on them. So I'm going to get these things in as soon as I can, because I don't want it getting too dry. And then we have, I like this. This is 4. This is going to form a bit of structure. So this is Taxus Media Stonehenge Skinny. I like the name first of all, but yeah, really nice, thin, upright. It's going to look really nice in the ornamental garden. Another magnolia, Salix Hakurunashiki, which is the one with the pink, really nice pink new shoots. And then finally, we have Prunus Triloba Multiplex, top grafted. Buds are just about swelling out. And then we have a few raspberries. 3 varieties of raspberries. Again, nice plants. Willow, would you like to come out the way? Thank you. They're plugs. Normally they do bare root, but these guys are now doing them in plugs, which I actually prefer. That's a really nice little plant, nice root system. Pop that up into a 1 gallon and that can sit in there. These do have to go into the polytunnel tonight. We're supposed to get -6 tonight. So just walking up the path. So we have a raised bed on the left side. Path, raised bed. Hey! Get off the bloody flower bed. That's a flower bed there. Get in here.
Oh, so it is.
Between the orange lines. Hey! Step in. That's actually where the runner beans are going to be going. So Julie's walking up the middle of the blinking runner bean patch at the moment. So yeah.
Well, I was told, wasn't I?
Yep, bed.
Oh,
Obviously.
is that what the B stands for, Gary?
No, that stands for bottom. So it's the bottom of the bed. So we know which way around to put them in. Another one. Path. And then this is the last one. So in this corner, you can see all the lines here at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, lines everywhere. So this is the central path that goes back towards the greenhouse. So it goes back towards the greenhouse. Do you want me to go and stand there so you know where the greenhouse is going?
Yeah, run.
No, it's bad for you. Makes you out of breath. Didn't you know that? So this entrance of the greenhouse eventually. Oh, you do me your arms all up there.
Well, somebody put a ball cart in the way.
Out, up the path. I know we put the map on last week, but it's just not necessarily that easy. And then this corner is a bit of a... So if I keep walking all the way to Julie... So
lovely.
About here, where I'm stood now, is going to be the back fence. So we have this bit of a triangle area here. So we thought this is absolutely perfect for the rhubarb. So I didn't want to bore you with digging the hole. I'm going to put some manure in the bottom, which is freaking heavy. So I have to put a little bit more, a bit wet, sloppy bit. So nice bunch of manure in the bottom. Gonna just loosen this all. This was all, I already loosened up the bottom before. Obviously an oversized hole. So it's a little bit soggy and fluffy. So I am going to just gently tap this down a little bit. I couldn't find anything else, so I'll just use the handle of this fork. Who cares? Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh,
oh, lovely.
Yummy. Good old-fashioned poop. So it's going, obviously make sure you put it back in at the same height. I mean, it should, by all means and purposes, this should have been done in the fall. We just didn't have time, so I'm doing it now. I think we're going to get a bit off this one. We're going to put a forcing cone on it. They've been in this pot for all of last summer, actually. So this is a variety called Victoria. That's actually not bad. And then I'm just going to do your normal. Going to get a bit of soil and a bit of manure. So this is a normal position for me. You're going to see me in this position an awful lot this year. Because I'm sorry. But it, huh?
Nothing.
What did you say?
Absolutely nothing.
It's just easier on your hands and knees. I don't care if the ground's wet and soggy. Anyway, so I put some of the original soil in this bucket with some of the poop manure. Back in at the same height as the pot it was in. A bit more soil around it, mixed in with some manure, and then a good mix of, or a good layer of manure on the surface. One piece of advice: when you're planting anything from a pot into the ground, whether it's tree, perennial, shrub, dig your hole and make sure your hole is the right size, but do not, whatever you do, just fill that hole up with either fresh manure or bag compost. Make sure you mix in some of the original soil with it. Because if you just fill that, if I filled that hole up, say just with good compost, this rhubarb will just root out into that and it won't go any further. And also that hole will then just fill up with water and you'll probably drown the plant. So yeah, make sure you keep some of the soil you've dug out, even if it's nasty, horrible soil. Break it up, mix it in with whatever you're going to amend the soil with. Following up on our apple tree, our fruit delivery. We'll call it our fruit delivery with our apples, pears, plums, cherry. So you saw the unwrapping, you saw the potting. So they've been sat outside for a couple of days. So we're now going to cut them back. But I think we'll take a step back first. So your selection of varieties. Most of the really good growers or the good suppliers will have pollination pals as such. So some will be self-pollinating. Others will need another variety or two to pollinate them. Now what you're actually looking at when it comes to pollination is flowering time. So don't worry about fruiting, whether they fruit September, October, that's irrelevant. It's flowering time. So if you want to just go do it yourself, just pick varieties that are all flowering at the same time, and that'll give you your pollination. The other way to help with pollination with apples is to get just some straight Malus, so the flowering crab apples. They will help tremendously with pollination.
And why is that? Because they flower for a much longer period of time.
Yeah, they do. They flower for a longer period of time. So a Malus could cover maybe early and mids flowering apples. Mm-hmm. So definitely a couple of crab apples. And I mean, obviously you can use them for making jelly and stuff as well. And they're good for the birds. So we always had very good pollination as long as the weather was good in the spring. So that deals with the pollination side. These are all on semi-dwarf rootstocks. So they're all suitable for the average garden, whether it's big or small. None of these are going to be grown as full-size trees. These are all being trained in different ways. And we'll go through the training process as they mature and as we get to each stage of the training. But as for now, they're all, apart from one, going to get cut off. So the first two I'm going to give the chop to. We're going to do Cox's Orange Pippin. And as I say, semi-dwarf rootstock, and we're going to do Blenheim Orange. We've grown both these varieties before. They tend to be, the apple is a little smaller, the leaf is a little smaller. So both of these two are getting cut off for stepovers. Now, typically a stepover is going to be cut off at about 14 inches. So there's 14 inches on the tape measure, which is about there. And then what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a couple of nice buds below the 14 inches. So there's one there, and there is one around the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up just above, and I'm going to make a diagonal cut right there. So we're going to do the Blenheim orange. We're going to again kind of cut it about 14 inches. So that's 14 inches right there. So I'm looking for a couple of buds. So I have a bud there, and I have another one here and another one there. So I don't know if Julie wants to come in. You can see that bud right above my secateurs.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going to cut, just above that on the diagonal there. So that's the 2 stepovers cut off. Another apple, again on a semi-dwarf. This one's Apple Rouville. Now this one, it's the only one we're going to have that's not going to be cut off. And we're going to grow this as a single cordon. And again, Julie's done some sketches, which she'll put into the video, which will show you what we're talking about. So this one will just be left to grow up straight as it is. So this is very easy. So next, we're going to give the chop to the plums. Now these are going to be cut a little bit higher. This stick's about 17 inches. So again, I'm looking for some nice buds. And unfortunately, this one's already broke here, these branches, which I really don't want. So this one I will cut this one a little, well, it'll be cut at 17 inches. I would like to have gone a little higher, but I can't. But as you can see, we've got really nice bud here. Got a nice bud, nice bud. So I'm going to cut this one right there. Oh, hands in the way, and we go up above. That's that one. And then we're going to do the same on the other one. And this one, actually, you can see this is already breaking. So the bud is already moving. And there's another bud all the way down here. And that one I do not want. I want it to break slightly higher up. So I'm going to rub that one out, and I'm going to rub that one out. I'm going to stick again, 17 inches. I'm going to go just above that. Another diagonal cut. And these are both going to be trained as fans. So 2 pairs. We have Bartlett and a French name one. I'm not even going to try it. And this one, actually, it was European pear. This one's on a full size. So it's on a full size rootstock. And so is the Bartlett. So these actually, if you left these would make quite large trees. But because we're training them, and both of these 2 are going to be Espaliers, they'll be absolutely perfect for them. So again, same height. I'm going to give this the chop. Looking for a couple of buds. One bud there, one bud, another bud. I'm going to cut above there for now. So that's that one. And then this one, I'm looking the same. There's the bud right there. So I'm going to give that the chop. Now what's going to happen, and what I'm looking for, is on everything that I've cut, I'm looking for 3 shoots. I'm looking for that shoot, and that shoot, and that one. So this top one, eventually will be trained vertically straight up. These 2 at the side, one will be trained to the left, and the other one will be trained horizontal to the right. And that is what we're going to start training with the Espaliers. And that's what I'm looking for on every single one that we're cutting. We're looking for 3 shoots, apart from the one that we left.
So back to the cherry.
Yeah, back to the cherry. This one, as you can see, is breaking really early. And I'm actually going to rub out some of these buds in a minute. This one's going to be trained as a fan. So again, I'm looking for that same dimension, about 17 inches. Now I can see that bud there. It doesn't look like it's going to be a lot of good. It looks like it's already been broken, or it's rubbed out at some point. So I'm going to have one there, and one there, which should be fine. So I'm going to give it a cut. I'm going to cut it right there. And then I'm going to just chop these buds out, because I do not want these developing. So I'll cut those back.
Kind of in the dark here, actually.
Oh, is it?
Mm.
Oh, anyway, and this is going to be trained. And now this is the only cherry we have. They sold out of cherries before I managed to get my order, and I ordered really early. Well, I'm not worried because we have other varieties of ornamental cherries here that we're planting. In fact, I've got I think it's 3 varieties. This is Lapins, sweet cherry. It is self-pollinating, but anything that's self-pollinating always benefits from having another pollinator close by. So again, not too worried about that, but this is, like I said, this one will be fine. So the apples we have left are, and I'm going to go through these quick. We've got Macintosh, Norkent, Bramley Seedling, Nova Red, Ashmead's Kernel, Baldwin, and finally down here we have Egremont Russet. Some good old European varieties there. They're all going to be trained either Espaliers, straight Espalier, or we're going to do a quadruple Cordon. Now with a quadruple Cordon, unlike the upright Cordon, we do cut it. So these are all going to get cut at a similar height now. So I'm going to go through these quickly, give them all the chop. Now it is important if you're training fruit trees, the way we're doing it, that you buy small, young whips. Because traditionally what will happen is a lot of the growers, if they're supplying you a a whip that is maybe 4 foot high, or a branched apple tree, pear tree, which has already started forming branches, you can't use those. You don't want anything much thicker than your little finger for this pruning purpose. And typically on a 4 foot whip, they will have rubbed out a lot of the lower buds. So there's no point cutting them off because they're not going to shoot. So if you want to do this, make sure that if you're ordering from a nursery, that you are very specific, that you want young seedlings where the buds have not been rubbed out. All of this has come from Silver Creek. They know the requirements I'm looking for fruit. Spoke with them. I've been buying from these guys for several years. Really good quality. So yeah, make sure you're very specific. I want young seedlings with the buds intact all the way down. These were all, I think these were all, what were they, 50 to 80 centimeters? I think they were 50. I
think so.
Yeah,
yes.
I think they were all purchased as 50 to 80 centimeters, which for me, for our purposes here, are perfect. So these now, they're going to stay in these pots. No fertilizer yet. I'll wait till I see a little bit of bud activity and then we'll give them a fertilize. They're probably going to stay in here. Well, they're going to stay in here certainly until the fall. And I don't know then if we're going to be ready to plant them out. But we can start the training process here in these pots. So these are my own strawberries grown from seed. This variety is Temptation. So these were sown. These actually would have been sown not Christmas gone, this last year, Christmas before. So we kept them in pots all last year because we knew we were moving. Bought them with us. Didn't do much. We had 1 or 2 strawberries, didn't we?
We did,
in pots. Yeah. They weren't too bad. But you can see now we've got some really nice plants, absolutely loaded with flowers. So I want to get these out as soon as possible now. I think we're going to put them in the raised bed underneath the poly, because we will get some early strawberries here, but it's a nice variety. So that's the strawberries. And then also you did see me potting up our raspberries. So this has been potted up now for a few days, settled down. They're in the tunnel. I'm going to bring them out. But I mean, as for these, came in as plugs. Normally you buy them as bare roots. So you'd have a stick. The stick is useless to you. So you can see the stick is here. It's a very small woody thing. Once you see new growth, remove the stick, because that's not going to do anything for you. That's what you're looking for. That may fruit this year in the fall. I doubt it. It's just not going to be big enough. But again, we're not worried about that. We're just looking for next year and the year after. So that's our strawberries, our raspberries. We are going to do some currants and gooseberries, but we're not going to do them this year. It's just too much to try and get in all at once. So there'll be a lot of fruit. And then when I get the greenhouse up, we're going to do some grapes in there. So we'll have a nice lot of fruit here as well eventually. But for now, we're going to settle with what we've got.